for tefillah, doron, a gift, and for war. If he has to go to war, he will. And he had said in Yud, V'yoma Yaakov, Elokei Ovi Avrom, Elokei Ovi Yitzchok. Hashem Homer Elai Shuv La'artzchol Martcha V'etiv Imoch. When Hashem appeared to Yaakov in the home of Lavan, he appeared with the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei. And he said to him, return to your land and your birthplace, and I will do good with you. Now it's interesting. From the time that he left Choron until this moment, what is it? It's a very short period of time. He fled from Lavan. He was saved from Lavan. Lavan came and was going to kill him. Hashem intervened. He entered into a covenant with Lavan, and now he's going further. Now he realizes that Esav is coming with 400 men. It's all-out war. And he's considered Kantoti Mikol HaChasodim, Mikol HaEmes. And he says, what did you say to me? Hashem Omer Elai Shuv La'artzchol Martcha V'etiv Imoch. Hashem said to me, return to your land and your birthplace, I will do with you. Okay? So it's very recent. And yet the next pasuk he says, I've become minimized because all the chesed, the emes, which you did with me. Because initially when I went to Choron, all I had was my walking stick. And now I'm 2 camps. I have all this wealth. When Hashem said return, he had this wealth already. When Hashem said return, he had the family already. So what happened? He said, maybe since you told me to go back and you gave me all the guarantees, he said, Shuv la'artzchol v'artzchol v'etiv imoch. Return to your land and your birthplace, and I will do good with you. So what all of a sudden now he says, but maybe I've become minimized. But when you told me to go back and I will do good with you, this is after he already had endowed him with all this tremendous wealth, and when he had his family already. It seems to be, sequentially speaking, it seems to be difficult. What's he concerned? And Rashi says over here, take a look at Rashi in Yud. Ubeisloven martli shuv el eretz avosecho martcho ve'imoch shom negleis elai b'shem emyuchad levado. You appeared to me in the home of Lavan just with Yud Kei Vav Kei. I'm coming with these 2 guarantees. But yet, he says, simultaneously, I'm concerned, maybe I've become minimized. And as a result, I've been soiled with sin. But if I'm soiled with sin, how did you tell me to go back and I will do good for you if I'm not going to survive it and I'm not going to make it back because I may be killed? Just a simple understanding of the sequence of when Hashem told him to go back and is concerned that because God endowed him with such wealth and a family where initially he had nothing, maybe he's been compromised and therefore he's concerned. Or we just had the Gemara in Bava Kama, person goes and takes somebody else's dog and he incites the dog and the dog bites the third party. So the one who incites the dog to bite has no liability. Why? Because that's called grama. Because that's called causality. He incited the dog, but the dog bit. Excuse me, one second. So I was thinking that Esav, the only reason why Esav was aware that Yaakov was coming because Yaakov alerted him. The Medrash says, based on the pasuk in Mishlei, that he created his own problem. If he wouldn't alerted Esav, he wouldn't be in this fix that he's at this moment. Okay? When Hashem said to go back, If he would have followed the direction of Hashem, he would have gone back without any worry. But because he wanted to test the waters, he created a problem. So maybe that he tested the waters, which was a mistake. It doesn't say it was a sin, or maybe it was a sin. He didn't know. But if that was a sin, then it's a problem. But the question is, why did he make the mistake? He said, maybe I made the mistake because I'm not worthy of that level of clarity because all that you've given me. As a result of that, I became sure I made this mistake. You follow me? That's how one follows the other. Where do you find something? I was quoting the Gemara Bava Kama. A person sicks a dog, somebody else's dog, and another person to bite him. The one who incites the dog to bite that third party has no liability because it's called causality. So Mara has a question, what about the owner of the dog, knowing that if somebody incites his dog, he will bite? Maybe the owner should have muzzled the dog, that since he is incitable, he's actually delinquent on his responsibility for the dog. He didn't maintain the dog properly. So the Gemara says that he is responsible. The owner of the dog, he fell short, he wasn't responsible sufficiently in the conclusion. What about the person who incites the dog? The dog turns and bites the inciter. Does the one who incited the dog, does he have a claim against the owner of the dog? You should have muzzled your dog. So the Gemara says, because you incited the dog and you were bitten, the owner of the dog you have no claim against the owner of the dog because you brought it upon yourself. Because you brought it upon yourself, you did something you had no right to do by inciting the dog, and you were bitten. You caused your own damage. Therefore, you have no claim against the owner of the dog. Yaakov over here, Hashem says, you know something? You created your own problem. You shouldn't have alerted Esau. Now that you created a problem, now you're coming to me. If you would have followed instructions as you should have, it wouldn't have happened. So what does that do? Katon kol hachasodim. He says, because if I would have had that level of clarity, I wouldn't have made this mistake. So maybe making that mistake indicates that I felt short that this is really considered a sin, and therefore not worthy of your protection any longer. That's the understanding. I'm afraid of him. He will smite, he will smite me, the mother with the children. Okay? What did Yaakov believe when the brothers brought the tunic dipped in blood? It says Yaakov couldn't be consoled because he believed Yosef died. So Rashi cites Chazal over there that he had a Kabbalah that if any of his children pass away in his lifetime, he's going to get him. And he's forfeiting his share in the world to come. That was Yaakov, what he felt. If any of his children should die in his lifetime, then he has no share in the world to come. Why? So we explained then, because Yaakov, it was confirmed that he is the father of the Jewish people. Klal Yisrael are 12 tribes. If Yosef dies in this lifetime, that means Yosef never had children. So that tribe is missing. There are only 11 children. And since his responsibility was to bring the world to its value, which is for the Jewish people, which is Kabbalah Torah, if there's no 12, there's no Kabbalah Torah. So Yaakov failed in his responsibility of establishing a Klal Yisrael, which will allow the Torah to be given, which is ultimately meeting the objective of creation. What was Yaakov concerned? Hikani Eim al Bonim. Even if, let's say, he would survive, if let's say his family would be killed, if that's the case, there may not be a Klal Yisrael. So what he supplicated Hashem is, it's not only for me that I should live. What happens if my children are killed? Binyamin wasn't born yet over here. Rachel was pregnant with Binyamin. If she's killed, that means there's no Klal Yisrael. So when he's supplicating Hashem, it's not only for himself. It's in Hashem's best interest to really protect him, his family, because if they're compromised, the value of existence no longer exists.
Rabbi, is there any concept, a little bit on Ernie's question about